It's been a while since I've done one of these. However, with this figure, it's something special. We're going to take a look at InArt's Deluxe Paul Atreides from Dune. So I just got this through. It's the InArt Paul Atreides Dune figure, the deluxe version. The deluxe version has rooted hair, and from what I've seen of the pictures and some other videos online, this looks absolutely phenomenal. Dune is one of my favourite all-time movies of the new two movies that have came out. I absolutely love them. I think they are spectacular, absolute classics. So when this figure was announced, it was one of the ones I had to get. So the only issue I got so far is when the box arrived, you can see there's quite a few bit of damage on the box. In terms of the shipper. So hopefully everything inside is okay. So let's dive in and take a look. So I've already ripped it open just to sort of see. I did open it up earlier just to check the box on the inside for any damage. And unfortunately the box does have a little dent here, or a couple of little dents and one in the back as well. So, but it doesn't look like it put all the way through. So the figure itself and hopefully the box inside itself is going to be okay. So, but yeah, let's just dive in and see what it's like. So, pull this out. It's in cellophane. Let's get rid of that. So here's the actual design of the box here, as you can see there. That's pretty cool. It's got this sort of gold embossing or relief over it as well. And the actual box itself, appears to have no damage. So all good. The shippers have done their job. So all that is good. So let's just get stuck into this. I should have had a knife. I'm just going to use a pencil just to pop open the cellophane. And let's get the cellophane off. So like I say, InArt are, for those who don't know, the main sort of player in the industry are things like Hot Toys. But InArt are, who normally do statues, they're part of Queen Studios. They normally do statues, but they then got into a line of 6 scale and really high-end 6 scale. So they've done the Joker, they've done It, the clown from It, or Pennywise, and a couple of other figures as well. They're looking at Harry Potter and all these other things as well. But I believe I'm going to hopefully do some more Dune figures, which I'm hoping to. If you've never seen the Gandalf, it is absolutely incredible. Take a look at that as well. But let's take a look at this figure. So the box, as you can see, has got that sort of gold, so it's almost like a sand colour with gold leaf over it with the design. Really, really nice. Nice box, nicely presented. And don't worry, we'll do some close-up shots of things coming up. But I'm going to open up the box and see what we have inside. So let's now take a little look inside the box. Okay, so we have the box. I'm holding the camera as well, so bear with me while I do this with one hand. So we have a guide, which we'll look at in a second, with some little stuff in the inside. So we'll take a look at what's in this in a second. And then take this off. And there we can start to see the figure. So we've got the figure, we've got one head, the other head is underneath. That's not, but this is the head with the mask over it, which we'll come on to. But we'll look at all these in a second. Let's have a little look at what's inside this pack. See what it looks like. See what's inside. So we have this, I have to take my glasses off for this. Have this InArt Paul Atreides release date. It's almost like a little barcode, sort of certificate type thing. A little thing like that. And then it's got that on the back. So it's almost like a little card. It's almost like you can rip this off. Maybe it's for some sort of voucher, or maybe they're going to do something in future. We will see. Again, something else. It's in Japanese or Chinese or whatever it is. So we're not too sure that's in that. We have a little silver full envelope. Let's have a little look. with a letter. And the letter states, "Dear collector, may roads lead into the desert. Every era has its Hamlet. Those who reveal in the thrill of revenge often overlook the immense hardships and trials faced by the prince in his journey. Paul Atreides, the young messiah, gradually finds purpose and conviction as the world is upturned. Grieving for the loss of his loved ones, he takes on the burden of his family's legacy to exact a mission of vengeance. Guided by the spirit of Dune Part 1, InArt remains dedicated to creating collectible figures of the highest quality. Driven by passion and belief, we will overcome all obstacles that await us on this journey. This is just the beginning. The Saviour is about to arrive. Thank you for your patience and trust. We hope you enjoy the purchase and wish you find your road and where it leads. All the best, InArt." So nice little letter there from InArt. So put that to one side. Then we have an operations manual. So what you think you'll find with these is, compared to things like Hot Toys and stuff like that, they go into a lot of detail. They go into what hand should hold what, what they, how to put it all together, how to move the eyes. They go into a lot of detail with their guides. So it's just the way they present things is just phenomenal. How it can move, all that sort of stuff. Hot Toys, things like that, they don't do anything like this, but it's a nice little operation guide in terms of what it is you can do. For some reason, it's back has a front and a back to it as well, which is interesting. So it's like a double thing, but we'll come on to that later on. So now we're going to look at the figure. Let me just pull this out of the box. So like I say, the head, comes with two heads. This head is the mast one, which you will never use, because especially once you see the other head. But there we have is the mast head of Paul Atreides. It's a standard looking thing. It does look nice, to be fair, that the eyes, etc., lovely shine on them. Nice little shine on the eyes, etc. So it is a really nicely detailed head in terms of what it is. And you can actually see the way these guys work. If you're used to Hot Toys, it's like a magnet inside rather than a peg, which I prefer, because pegs can just break. But this nice enough head, but it's not the one I would use, and you'll see why in a second. So that's the head. We'll just put that to one side. And it comes with a whole load of accessories. So let's have a look at the accessories first before we look at the actual body. Little thumper, which can twist, I believe, and it opens up, so you can have it like that. And then it twists to close. So it comes with a little thumper. Really nice. We've got the usual selection of hands and various other things. So here we have, what's this? This looks like a compass, one of the compasses from the movie as well. Stuff like that. This is another mask that you can put over the actual other head if you wanted to, or on his neck or something like that. So we'll look at that as well and see what we can do with that. Put that in there. Put that in there. Keep all these little baggies together. This is a sheath or a scabbard for his knife. And here is a crisp knife itself. So this has been taped quite tight together, so I want to be very careful. So I'm going to just cut this open from the top. Excuse my teeth. So I'm obviously trying to protect the blade. There we go. That is lovely. The detailing on that is incredible. Really, really nice. Really nice little blade. Love that. Absolutely love that. I've got a replica one of these in my office, which is great. So lovely little knife. I'm just going to put the knife in the scabbard. You need to be very careful with placing these in, because that knife is very thin there, and you could easily break that. So I'm just going to keep that in there just now. What else have we got? So we have, looks like the gun. Little gun here, which does have a little spring. Spring works. And then there is a way of opening this up. I think it could be quite fiddly from what I've seen. I think it's up here. There we go. So you can pull that down, and there we go. We've got the gun. So I'll now get the gun in place. And that as well. This looks like, yeah, that looks like the thing that goes on his wrist. A little bit of detail. I think that was a little thing, the little knife or something like that came out of, if I remember rightly in the movie. I won't take all the hands out, so I'm not too sure what hands are going to be in, but all the hands are there. There's gloved hands, which I'll show some off. There's a couple of hands on the body as well, but you also get hands with the ring on his hands. There's only one set of bare hands, and the rest of them are gloved. Let's take the body out now before we get to the main item, which is the head. Oh, there's some weight to that. There's a good bit of weight to that. So here we can see there's a body. Really nicely detailed. Absolutely phenomenal. There is a good bit of weight to this. Everything seems to move and bend really well. So that is looking good. Feels good. And the fact that all the detailing, all the stitching, everything in this with all the mixed medium of the cloth and the rubber and everything else is actually quite phenomenal how they've put this together, and that you're still getting a good range of movement as well, considering how tight these clothes are. So that's great. You get a little nose piece as well, which is why that's stuck down. There's a hood there, and here's where you put the head in. Now, I've heard that the head can be quite awkward to put in because of this hood. We shall find out if that is the case, because it sort of clips in and turns, and then it sort of locks in place. But we'll see how bad it is. But I've been told, pull the hood out as far as you can to bend it over and get the head in. So we'll see if we have any issues with that. But yeah, that new toy smell for sure comes with it. But it is an amazing looking body. Detailing is incredible. Like I say, all the mixed mediums and everything else. And that's the other thing that's different between InArt and other manufacturers like Hot Toys. They actually have magnets in the feet. So with most Hot Toys and most 6-scale figure, you'll come with a stand and it has like a thing that would hold the figure up, whether it goes in between the legs or around the waist, depending on the figure. InArt are doing something different. They've put magnets in the feet so you don't have that support from like the other stands would do. The figures should be good enough to stand on their own with the magnets, and the base is magnetized as well, which I love the fact that they're doing that. But yeah, that is looking, as a body, that is looking great. And obviously, it's just, yeah, I'm really happy with what I've seen so far. Right, let's get to the main aspect of it. Let's take this part off. And before we come to the head, let's look at some other things. So we have the base. So this is the base here, which looks like one of the buildings from Arrakis. So you can see there, Paul Atreides, with his name on it. Nice base. In keeping with the movie. And under here is where you can open up. I'm just going to turn this around if I can. See what we can do with it and turn it around, yep. That should pop off. And inside is the magnets. So you can actually move these up and down so the magnets are in place in different parts of the base. So you can actually adjust where his feet are going to be, whether it's more centered or one still like the back or whatever that would be. So yeah, you can actually move these, which is great. Which is great. I'll leave that off just next. I don't know where I'm going to put his feet yet. What else have we got? Yes, we've got these, which is what I'm probably going to display him with. And it's the little, I can't remember the name of them, but it's the little catchers that he uses to go onto the worm. Now, I don't want to break these. There's a particular way that these need to open up. Now, I know that this extends out. I just need to figure out why. I'm going to look at the instructions on that because I don't want to break this. But there's a particular way that these open, and I just want to make sure that we're opening up in the right way. But that's the little handles that they use to grapple onto the worm. We then have a little the little mouse from Arrakis. So that comes with that. I believe this only comes with the deluxe version, I believe. I might be wrong on that one. But it comes with a little mouse, and that is pretty cute. Pretty cute. Nicely detailed little mouse. And then you've got his cloak. Again, I'm probably going to use this on him in my display. So it comes with the cloak, and the thing I love about the cloak, it looks ragged, it looks everything just like the movie, but there's wires in the hood, and there's also wires in the cloak as well, so you can actually make this look more dynamic when you're posing it, etc. So you can actually pose the cloak itself, which I think is incredible. But really nicely detailed, again, in terms of the stitching, the cloth. No, the stitching is absolutely tiny. I'm really impressed with that. That is, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Last thing before we look at the head is his Fremen pack. So it comes with a little backpack. Again, just nicely detailed. You even get the little things on the inside that you would expect most backpacks to have. Thing is, all this opens up and it's got things inside it as well. So let me see if I can open this up. So you can see here. So it's got various things in here as well. It's got the thing that they use to blast the sand. It's got a knife. It's got, I think it's binoculars or something like that. And some other things as well. So we'll have a little bit looking more in detail on that in a second and see what's inside it. That's really, really nicely put together. And the fact that it opens up and has some things in there is great. So I'm going to look at the instructions to see exactly what it is that you can pull out, etc. Because again, I don't want to break this. So we'll have a little look at that in detail in a little second. Now, the head. Oh my God, that looks incredible. So this Timothy Chalamet, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Because everybody thinks it's Timothy, it's not, it's Timothy. The head sculpt is one of the best head sculpts I have ever seen in my life. The hair is absolutely spot on. And you can actually pull the back of the hair away to take part of his head off to then readjust eyes, etc., which is incredible. But let's see if I can open this. Can I open this? How do I open this? I think it twists. I don't want to break anything. Oh, it just pops over. I thought it twisted. There we go. There is the head. So that, you can see here, rooted hair. Looks incredible in terms of what it is. The detail is amazing. The hair in real life just looks absolutely stunning. And again, you can move his eyes and everything else, but that is one of the best head sculpts I have ever seen in a 6-scale figure. Wow. Wow. That is phenomenal. The hair's almost, it's rooted hair, but it's almost got like gel in it or something like that, or some sort of hairspray or whatever. That's pretty cool. So let's look at some of this stuff in detail now. And let's start with the head, because I know that's what everyone else is looking to see. The lighting here is quite harsh because I've put the big lights on so I can do this video, but the lightness is incredible. Once you start seeing shadows over the face and things like I say, the lighting here is quite harsh. But you can see there, rooted hair. But it looks phenomenal. So that's the head. Can I zoom in anymore? Oh, too blurry. That looks amazing. Absolutely amazing. InArt have done a fantastic job of this. Absolutely stunning. Let's start looking at some of the other things. I'm just going to put that down. So the other head, as I say, is the masked version. But you would never ever use this, because you would obviously use the one with the hair. There's a little mouse. I'm trying to do this when I'm holding the camera with one hand. There's a little mouse. Nicely detailed, nice paint job. Really, really nice. Like it. mask itself, which I'm hopefully going to just try and get over his neck so it's hanging off his neck rather than on his face, because I do not want to cover that face, that head sculpt, because I don't want any paint or anything like that getting onto his face. So it's, again, just really nicely designed, nicely painted, well built. It just feels well built, which is great. There's the thumper, which again you can open up. Nicely weathered, etc. A crisp knife. So there it is in its scabbard. Little detail there on the scabbard itself. And then the knife itself is quite incredible. And if I tell you, like I say, the blade is really, really thin. So I'm trying to do this so it's not blurry. The blade is really thin. So you really need to be careful of the tip of that, because that will easily snap if you're not careful with it. So just be careful with that as I drop it. That's the thing that goes on his wrist, which was like a, if I remember rightly, it's either a communication device or something like that. It comes out of it. I can't remember what it was, to be honest. I'm sure someone in the comments will remind me. I'll have a look at it later on as well. There is the gun. That sort of gun. The spring does work. I'm holding this with one hand. So the spring does work, and then the arm comes down to make the actual gun itself. Let me see if I can do this on camera. So it's quite, you can see the other spring does work. And then this just pulls down and opens up. And there you have your gun. Nice paint job. It's got different colours, etc. Really like it. It's nice. Probably won't use it, but it's nice. Here is one of the compasses. I know there's another compass that's closed, and that's inside the Fremen kit. This is the one that's open. His little sort of compass. Again, I'll just show the thumper again, because I've now got two hands here. Just a twist, open. Works really well. We have these, which is the grappling hooks. So we get come with two of these, but there is a specific way that these open, and I don't want to break it, because this seems to be quite tight in terms of trying to open it. I think it opens up that way, but I'm going to double check before I do anything. I'm going to look at the instructions and see what I need to do with these, because I don't want to break these, because they seem to be quite tight. And I just want to make sure I'm opening them up the right way. And I know they can extend as well. So I just need to figure out how they can extend, because that does not seem to twist. It's really tight for what I can see, but I'll come back to that. In fact, let's look at the instructions and see how you open that. This is what I mean about the instructions. They're very good in terms of what it tells you. Obviously, we'll come back to the Fremen kit. Now, I've looked at the instructions. It has nothing on these, which is unusual. It has everything else telling you how to open them, etc., and what to do. You can see the instructions here. So there's how to move the body. There's the different hands that you can use. The knife and the thumper. The gun and the base. How to open up the head to roll the eyes. What's inside the pack and how to open that up. But nothing about these guys, which is strange. So I'm going to look at something and figure out how you open these up, and we'll come back in a second. Okay, I've managed to open one of them up. It is really tight. You can see a couple little screws here. Maybe you can't, but there's a couple little screws right there. I didn't unscrew them or anything like that, but it is really tight. But what I found is this flat bit here, that is the side that opens away from you. So that flat bit there is the side that opens away from you. So you can see here that that opens up like that. So you've got the hook to go into the worm. And this part does open up somehow. And I just need to figure out how. Because it does extend. In fact, oh, there we go. It just extended. The whole thing extends. So there we go. Extend like that. And it's something like that that I'm probably going to use for the when I display the figure. So let's just have a look at the other one, if my theory is correct. So you can see here, there is a flat bit. So that bit pushes away from you. And again, it's tight. You'll hear a little click. So there's that one. And then this one, push away. And then that whole thing just opens up. So there we go. So that's how you open up and do these. But just be very careful you open them up the right way, because so you don't snap them. But that's them now open fully. And then I can use these to grab sandworm. And now let's take a closer look at the body. Like I say, the detailing is incredible. You can see there the ribbing, all the stitching across here. It's tiny, 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 tiny stitching. Mixed mediums in terms of the rubber. There's these nose clips, which I will use, that you can put on. I'm hoping to put his mask around here as well. We'll see if that works. But the detailing of it is quite incredible. And how they've got it all to just fit in properly. And like I say, that it's a hefty figure. It does actually weigh quite a bit. And even with the body being so tight, you still get a good range of motion in terms of what you can do, etc. So I'm really, really happy with that. Yeah, really, really happy with that. Cloak, as I say, we looked at it before. It's got wires, really nicely designed, nicely put together, nicely weathered, etc. Okay, so we're going to have a little look what's in this Fremen pack. So you can see here, you've got all the different things inside it. Now, if I do this, something that's probably going to drop out or whatever, but maybe not. I'm actually just going to use the tip of a pencil just to get this out. So this is like a little sheath with a little, basically a little knife within it. I'll just use this in my hand so you can see it better. So a little knife on there, and there is a little sheath that comes with it. So we've got that there. I'm just going to move this camera down so I can get more in shot. So I can start using two hands. So you can see that there. So that just slides in, and that just goes into here. Now under here, this pulls off, I believe, yep. And in there is the closed compass. So you get the closed compass version as well. You can see there, it's a little closed compass. So I'm going to put that back in. And there's a specific way that goes in. There's a circle and a little sort of rectangle part. This part opens up here, pulls back. Just be very careful. It's basically just rubber, but this part pulls back, and you've got a set of binoculars in there. I'm not going to bother pulling that out. So I'm just going to close that over. And then here, this one, I believe, opens up this way. Yep. And that way you can use, or you can hold, if I take this out, hopefully. That's the thing you use to blast the sand. And then it gets out the hole. Put that back in there. That's probably a specific way. There we go. And I'm going to close that over. So I'm going to have the backpack on them. So that should close like that. That should close like that. And done. So we're now going to attempt to put this together. I'm going to now attach the head, etc. I've heard that this can be quite tricky. So we're going to see how all this goes. I also want to try and have his mask hanging on his head, sort of neck, from his neck, but I don't know if that is possible, because I've heard that this can be quite tight as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take his head, see if I can get over his neck first, and then attach the head. So let's see if I can do that, and we will come back if I can't do that on here. So let me try and remove his head. I want to be very careful here. It's a twist and open. So there he is. Don't want to mess up your lovely hair. Timote. Let's see if I can actually get this. Oh, I can get it over the neck. Okay, so at least it does it that way. Obviously, I don't want the mask over his nose, so I can do it like that. And then I should be able to then attach that in there. So let's see if we can do that. You might not see this on camera. So there is a particular way. I'm just going to move the camera up. There is a particular way of doing this. Like I say, there is a magnet attaches to that magnet. I'm just going to try and move the hood up as much as possible. Because you can see that there's like a little magnet, but there's that bit that juts out, which sort of clips and turns. So I'm just going to see if I can pull this up just to make it a little bit wider. Pull that back as well at the same time, which is easier said than done. So I've got it like that. Let's see if I can get the head in. So there's a clip. Can I get the head in with the mask? Let's have a look. Okay, I managed to get the head in. That took a couple of minutes, a little bit of I was a little bit worried at one point, to be honest. As you can see there, I've got the mask around his neck, so I've managed to do that. Head is on fine, and I can rotate his head round a little bit. Let me just put the camera down. So I can move his head side to side. Doesn't really move back and forward, but I can move his head side to side. Now I'm trying to decide, do I actually want the mask on him or not, because it is covering a lot of his face. However, he did have his mask like that in the movie. So I'll leave it for now and then decide, but it is covering a lot of his face, and I just want to make sure it's not going to, the paint's not going to rub off on his chin, etc. But we'll leave it for now and see how that goes. See if we can stretch it any further without breaking it, which would be good. But we'll leave it like that just now, because I do want to put his nose plugs in as well. See how that goes. But that's his head in place. So you can see there. Still looking good. Let's do a little far away shot. So you can see they're still looking great. Now let's put the rest of them together and see how that looks. So I want to put his cloak on. Got things for his wrists as well. I want to make sure where all this goes as well before I put it all together. Make sure these are tightened up. No one needs to come out. These little buckles, one's about to fly out there. Just going to try and push that in. There we go. Just to make that tighter. And then we go from there. So there he is. So I'm going to attempt to put his cloak on now. I'll probably see, we'll see if I can do it on camera. If not, I'll be doing this off camera. One arm in. Can I get his other arm in? Looks like we can. There we go. That was easy enough. That was easier than what I thought. So his cloak, like I say, has wires, so we can set this once I get to the posing stage into different ways it could be. I've been blowing in the wind, etc., and all that sort of stuff. You can do things like that. That's looking good. Oh. Okay. So I've now got his cloak on. And we'll come back and we'll... Oops, a daisy. We will come back and look at his cloak, and obviously when we get into the posing stage in terms of what we want to do with him. But there he is there with the cloak on. You can already see some of the wiring doing that as well. So let's have a little look. It's going to take a little bit of adjusting, but we'll get there. So I want to change his hands. I also need to see where this goes. I believe it goes onto his wrist. We'll double check. And I want him to be holding these. So I need to get, and I need to put his backpack on as well. So I need to get the hands for these and figure out the hands. So the hands are mentioned in the guide. Which hands hold what thing? So I know the hands from this one. They've got a sort of weird looking, it's almost like these. It's like he actually holds it in between his two fingers. So he's actually, which is quite weird. He's actually holding it something like that with the thing in between these two fingers. So that's how he holds it. So that's the hands I'm looking for. So let's put the hands on him. So that's the hands here. So as you can see, the way he holds it is like in between the four fingers, so right in the middle, which seems quite uncomfortable. But that's how he holds it. So we're going to try and replace the hands on here. I don't know how easy it is to replace the hands on this guy, so let's have a little look. And before I replace the hands, I'm going to see if this goes on his wrist or not, or if it goes actually over. It can go over, so it must be on his wrist, but we'll double check where that goes first. But let's take his hands off, which hopefully is just a matter of twisting. It's the general pegs. It's the usual ones you would get in Hot Toys, things like that. So it's general pegs. So used to that. You just need to be very careful on how you pull them off. For his little watch wrist thing, I just want to double check where that goes, if this tells me. Nothing in here about it. I'm going to have a little look at some pictures online and we'll come back. Okay, I've had a look online. That actually goes over his arm. Right there. So let's see if I can actually do that or not. So this is meant to go over this. And I don't know if that will actually stretch over that. Ah, this comes off. Boom, boom. That makes it easier. Put that over. And stick this over. Try and push, keep pushing it across. And there's a little bit of elasticity to it, but it's still quite tight. So there, I've got it on his wrist now. That will then fit back over. So I want to try and push this up a bit more without breaking it. Let's see how that goes. And then stick on one of his arms. Or his hands, I should say. So it'll be more like that. So there we go. That actually works. So you can see there, I've now got his arm on with the little communication device or whatever it was on his arm. And let's stick the other one on. Again, I don't want to break pegs. That just goes over there. And there we go. So he's now got the proper hands on to then hold one of these. Now, how that fits in there, there might need to be a little bit of give, unless this comes out all together, which I don't believe it does, no. So that big bauble needs to somehow fit over that. So we're going to have a look to see how we do that as well. And this can also go over them as well, so you're sort of seeing it like that. So I'm going to stick that under there. So it's meant to look like it's wrapping around them, almost like a scarf. Yeah, I've still to take this off to try and pin it on his nose as well. So I'm still trying to decide, do I actually want this mask on him or not? Because it's covering quite a bit. If I can make it so it's not covering quite a bit, then I can live with it. Something like that, maybe. Looks okay. See how that goes, I suppose. Okay. So I've got that. I'm not going to use his gun or anything like that. All that's going to go back in. I've got those hands and everything else. So I want to have this on him. So let's see how we can do that. So that goes over there. I'll take this down first. The scarfy bit, because the scarfy bit would be over. Just going to take that down for the time being. So that will go over here. This would come round and go over here. I'm trying to figure out how that stretches all the way around on his body. Because that will just... Surely that just clips in somehow. Or is there a bit missing? So how does that clip? Because that doesn't open up here. So how does that clip in there? I'll need to figure that one out. Okay. Okay, I've figured it out. This bit here, I actually thought that was stitched. But it's actually Velcro. So that makes it easier. So let's try again. It's a figure. Let's get that over. So it's like that. Get these bits out of the way first. I'll just put them up there. And this part to be round. And I'm going to have to try and somehow stretch this over there. So let me do this off camera and we'll come back. Okay, I think I've got it. I have to put it sort of tuck it over and under. There's more Velcro up here. And I attach that to that. There we go. So he's now got his backpack on. His Fremen backpack. Just goes off to the side like that slightly. Let's move his hood down. Let's move his head a little bit. This will then fit under here. And that's how that sort of looks at this moment in time. So I think now we're ready to stick on the grappling hooks and try to pose them in a nice looking way. Now what I've found is with this one, well with these, is to get it into the hands first before you attach the hands. Now they are a little bit fiddly. And you can maybe put this into, get a little hairdryer on it or something like that if you want to. But I've managed to coax them in. So just be careful of these, that you don't break them. But basically just try to go in on one side and just sort of slowly rotate around. Apply a little bit of force, but not too much, and then they'll go in like that, as you can see. So then they go in. So it just needs a little bit of coaxing to then be able to hold them. And then I will then put the hands on. So I found that to be the easiest way to get these in. There we go, and move that down. So there he is, he's holding these grappling hooks now. And then I'll just turn these as I see fit. Okay, there he is posed. I've got him in a sort of dramatic shot. You can see here I've got the cloak because of the wiring going up. I've got him holding his the claw things to grab onto the worm. The head again, like I say, sculpt is looking absolutely stunning. I've kept the mask on. I think it looks better with the mask. It makes them more complete. Just going to move that over there as if it's been blowing in the wind. So you can see here, and because of the magnets, see here, I've got one magnet here pushed forward, and that one's not holding on the magnet. And you actually see there, I've actually got his foot raised as if he's about to leap. So he's making a sort of dash for it. So the one magnet currently is holding him up in this pose, which is rather cool. So let me just do a little, not 360, but let me just get round to the figure so you can see. I think the figure is absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. Go back into the head. Have a little look. Amazing. Like I say, you can take the back of the head off
to move his eyes in a pose that you wish. So I might move them up slightly as if he's looking at something. But overall, I'm really happy with that figure. So that's InArt Paul Atreides Deluxe Edition. Outstanding. Now it's time to get him put into my display. And here he is in my display. I think he's an absolutely incredible figure. One of the best figures I think I've ever owned in terms of likeness, etc. No, just the likeness, as I said before, is incredible. The rooted hair, just the detailing of the suit, all the little bits and bobs that come with it, the backpack, etc., which is on his back. Can't see here. I might actually try and get a rotating base for this so it spins round possibly, because the figure's too good not to see all sides. But yeah, really happy with the figure and fits in with my collection really well. I will do a video on my full collection at some point, but there's a little teaser in terms of what I have and the different movies, etc. I collect. And don't forgetting about Arnie there as well. So yeah, it's an incredible piece. InArt have done an incredible job. Really, really happy with it. Really happy with the likeness. Like I say, probably one of the best figures I own. And now I need to see and decide whether I display him on his own like that, or I display him with his father, which was from a different toy maker. This is not quite as lifelike. It is good, but not quite as lifelike. So I need to decide what I'm doing with the actual display. But overall, the figure itself is incredible. So that's InArt Paul Atreides Deluxe Edition. You will not be disappointed.